Now, obviously, fantastic conversations over lunch, great networking, which is, of course, also a big part why we're here. But we're also here to get inspired and learn from speakers. And circularity has really come to the forefront lately. I mean, it's been really around for some time. When I first read the book from McDonough, Cradle to Cradle, it made like immediate sense. I said, yeah, of course, that makes sense. But then, of course, the implementation is another story. That's what I'm excited here to see, learn from the speakers. Because as you probably know, you can be circular at many different scales. You can be circular at the material scale. You can be circular at the component scale. You can be circular at sort of some kind of module or spatial scale, and you can be circular at the whole building scale, or maybe possibly even neighborhood scale. And of course, we see all of these things happening, and I'm excited that by the three speakers we have, taking a look at how we can continue to get value from existing buildings by making their retrofit dramatically more efficient, and then future retrofits also. But also learning from some case studies that my PhD student Julia did to see what's going on in the space in Europe and in the US. And then again, talk from Europe, from EcoWorks. On my recent European trips, probably the hottest company in this space that everybody is talking about. So very cool that we get to hear from them. But to kick us off, please welcome John Fay from Låda Cube, or do you say Låda Cube, or how you will, given how you spell the A, maybe you tell us what's behind the name, but more importantly, the cool things you do.
Thanks, Martin. All right. Well, thank you for having me. Thank you, Martin and Daniel and Jurker and the whole team. I'm honored to be here. I had the opportunity to speak in 2018, and I'm excited just to kind of show the developments of the things that we've been working on at Låda Cube. And Låda Cube is actually, Jurker probably knows this, it's Swedish. It's actually technically pronounced Låda, and but I don't expect people to call it that. But it basically means box or barn, and there's not any super specific meaning to that, but I can tell you more stories if you want to talk later. So yeah, with that, my name is John Fay. I'm the CEO and founder of Låda Cube, located in Grand Junction, Colorado. And really what Låda Cube is, it's a building product company, really looking at the transformation of how we use different materials. So we make what's called a structural modular wall system, and that system can be used modularly or permanently. But it has this longevity, sustainability model of reusability. And so I'm going to kind of go through the product, show you guys examples, and so hopefully everyone got enough food. Thank you guys for lunch, by the way. Yeah, so with that, ironically, I love the theme that I'm seeing. I don't think any of the presenters, I know for a fact, we did not collaborate to talk about productization. But as you can see, it's becoming, I think, a theme in the discussions. And so really, productization is such a key category, I think, in construction and concept, really having to do with this, this issue with productivity across construction and, the inherent inefficiencies that we see historically compared to other larger industries that are comparable in size. So productization, the translation of a one-off design into a scalable and repeatable system of standards and processes. So really taking what we do in construction now, which every building and everything we build is custom, one-off, and really figuring out how do we optimize that in such a way that we can still provide customization, but under a basically platform or system that creates a lot of sustainability and cost savings. So what productization allows us to do, it enables us to improve the speed of delivery, provide higher precision and less risk, and improved hard cost and reduce variability. So As you can imagine, all those things equate to the ability to be able to reduce cost over time. So, one thing I love about productization is I think it's a model that leads us towards affordability. And that's the word that I hear everywhere. I feel like that's what the customer is looking for. And construction historically has not really been able to deliver that over time. Whereas other industries, what you see is as production increases and volume, you see costs go down historically over time. An example would be, computer, electronics. And so what we're seeing is because of the beauty of productization, over time, we call them 5 stages of manufacturing. So we're currently at stage 4. Stage 4 is beautiful because it gives us a lot of flexibility to basically design and iterate and make adjustments. But really, stage 5 is where the product has stabilized, and now we're getting into stamping of parts and components. And what we are seeing is that's going to lead to a 65% or more reduction in cost. So, Låda Cube is basically a kit of parts, and we're going to go into more detail of that. But so we've been around for 10 years. Really, the vision for Låda Cube came in 2010. And so I'm probably, ironically, the least likely person that should be sitting up here with this product. But I had a really miraculous encounter that I'd love to share with you if you want to come talk to me afterwards. But really, we fit in between these 2 categories. We fit in between traditional construction, and we fit in between kit of parts, furniture. So you think of like companies like Dirt, Falk Built. We're kind of in this new category that kind of tries to bridge the gap between both of those solutions. So, walls that assemble like Legos, right? We've heard that key phrase earlier through a great presentation talking about Legos. But it's like, how do you get to that level of, detail and usability? So, what we do is we make basically various sizes, which I'll show you in the next slide, of wall cassettes, so panelized construction. So, really quick, a lot of what we see on projects across the board, and we have a lot of case studies, but is about a 75% faster, process of installation. So, and the beauty in that is I'll tell you some of the examples of those projects, but we do a lot of highly repeatable projects for tenant improvements for various companies, where they're taking the same footprint over and over and again. And so we've been able to take their traditional construction schedule and then overlap it with the data from our actual schedule from our projects, and then come up with some really great facts and figures. So you can see some of the various features, and I'll go through those in the next slide. So yeah, basically what we do is we make 8 sizes of wall cassettes. We call them cassettes, they're panels. So you're seeing 4 of those sizes. You're seeing a 48, a 36, a 24, and a 12. And we've really optimized those sizes in such a way that we have the efficiencies of production, so we're not making infinite sizes, but these sizes and everything you see here literally has over 1.2 million configurations, even with a set system. And so the beauty in that is you still give your customer or your end user tons of optionality, even though underneath it's a very simplistic system. So we also have some variable pieces that can attach to the top of cassettes, and they can do 2 feet and under, so you can hit very odd measurements. Our standard heights are 8, 9, and 10 feet, but the cassettes are universal, meaning that they can be stacked, they can be actually built sideways, they can be reversed. And so the other product we have is called headers, so pretty straightforward. So those headers can be combined. We do have some standard sizes. The headers are more of a custom piece as well. So we have our standard headers, but we can also combine them to create different size ROs, rough openings. We have sill and top plates. They kind of set the foundation of whatever you're going to be building. And they're really integral, they're really key to the whole system because it is a digital building system, which every component that we build falls within 0.15 of an inch tolerance, which is really unheard of in construction, as most of you know. But it really starts from the foundation because you're never dealing with a level floor, obviously. And so, and there are benefits to that as well, those tolerances. One of the benefits being that you can take minimally or zero skilled labor and bring those people in, and they can actually build structure. I can have anybody in this room, which you guys are probably more skilled, but we can recruit someone in half an hour. I can have them building rooms and structure. And then we have a pillar, which has a lot of reconfiguration to it. So it's a really simple piece, but it allows you to build corners, crosses, and T's. So that's really the place where you get these intersections of walls and layouts. And then infill, you can do a lot of things within the cassette. So you can add different soundproofing, different insulation for R value, and so there's a lot of flexibility in the cassette system. So then the other factor within what we build is we add what are called accessories to the cassettes. So the cassettes have what we call reverse compatibility. So reverse compatibility means you can take a blank cassette, you can add new technology to that cassette, right? So these are some examples: plug and play electrical systems, so UL rated, UL certified. So you don't need an electrician to basically hardwire entire rooms or sections of wall. You do need an electrician when you hardwire that into the mainframe or building structure. But you do save time and money in this process. Another accessory is digital blocking. So blocking that can be added at any location within a cassette. It holds about 350 pounds. It's rated at every screw hole. So you can hang in a significant amount of weight from every structure. Wet wall cassette, that basically is a hauled out 24-inch cassette that allows for plumbing. And then we have some other unique features that you can see there as well, but I'll kind of skip forward just with time. So here's the system. You have your cassettes, your sill plate, your top plate, and then internal cam locks. So those cam locks allow for the structures to be assembled with an Allen wrench. And that's where you can take this minimally skilled labor pool, which I call actually the creatives. I think that's kind of the definition for me of kind of the future forward labor pool. And you allow them to build structure using an Allen wrench. And so on the right, you can see an example of a project that is getting finished. So here's a video, actually. I think if it will play. So this is an example of a Walmart where we built a vision center and optometry offices. And so most of these cassettes went in 6 hours. And so this entire structure is assembled. But the beauty in it is it can be 100% disassembled. So every component you see in this structure can actually be re-inventoried and put into another project. So the cassettes are, they're allowed to be, they're reusable in multiple applications, which I'll show you some more of. Skins, you'll typically get 75% that you can reuse. You'll have some customization of skins that go against existing walls. So we have special brackets that allow you to basically plug into existing wall structure as well. But you can see the speed. So this is our business model. So really our goal is we don't want to be the builder. We want to take all of the amazing builders, general contractors, homeowners, designers, engineers, anybody that wants to build. We want to put these tools into their hands and free them to build. So that's one of our mission statements. So free the world to build. Education is a big component of that. It's like you really have to help people understand how to use the system, how to use the products. And so we do offer a training installation certification program. But not everyone that uses our product actually uses that or actually goes through the certification. So a lot of times we have builders that just take our installation manual and they can learn from that. We also have some video content that helps them build the structure as well. So. But yeah, you can kind of break it out in terms of kind of seeing the things that we're working on for our business model. So software is a huge component. So being talked about a lot today. I love just the different, iterations and ideas of and programs that I'm seeing from different companies. We feel the same way. So software is critical because right now a lot of our systems, we call it Lådification. We take a Revit file, a DWG, or sometimes a napkin scratch layout, which we're fine with. And, it's really our team transferring that, we call it Lådification, into basically the format that fits our systems, our products. So what's happening is we're actually working with a few people, one being System Build, it's a newer company, and really we're working with them to understand how we can put these tools into the hands of architects, designers, builders, and in a lot of formats, Revit, SolidWorks, and other formats, so that they can essentially build from the start with our product. The beauty in that is you see the data out. That's a critical category. So what that does for us is it basically kicks out invoicing or quotes immediately. It gives us all the data to compare to our bill of materials from inventory standpoint and understand how fast we can deliver projects based on what we have in inventory. It gives us basically the assembly instructions and then shop orders that go directly out to the shop and then allow our crew, our assembly staff, to basically configure the cassettes for projects. So a critical piece right here that we're working on. I'm going to go through a few quick projects just to show you the variety of what the product can do, the system. So this is a Northern California, actually Redding, California. We got some Redding people here. Build out that we did, about 11,000 square feet. You can see the variation where you basically have clip-in skins, we call them. So you can either drywall the cassettes, or we have various other methods of hanging different materials, ideally locally sourced. And so the beauty in the system is that it doesn't eliminate traditional skills, trades as well. So you can actually have the units, the cassettes wired by an electrician. You don't have to use our electrical. You can have a drywaller come in. You can use any door or window system off the shelf. Can be fully integrated into our systems. We do have a few systems that have cam pins that actually lock right in. So we have crews that, we have some data where they've installed 6 doors in 1 hour, no shimming, no screwing, which is unheard of. Micro hotel room, you think about adaptive reuse being a big opportunity, I think, coming up here. You're seeing it in larger cities. What do we do with all this empty office space? And so, able to come in and build out hotel rooms, and then over time deconstruct them and use them in different applications or different configurations. So we build out all of Walmart's new vision and optometry centers. So we go into their tenant spaces, which you're familiar with. There's probably was a Build-A-Bear or a bank or a McDonald's. And so we will come in and build this structure out in 3 days. Used to be about a 16 to 20 day construction cycle. This is a manufacturing space for early stage manufacturers. So you can see the variety. This is a polycarbonate cassette with polycarbonate skins. This is the old HP factory in Loveland, Colorado. So these are 3,000 square foot blocks. The cassettes are rated at 3 times stronger than a stick-built structure. So the beauty in that, you see kind of a roll-up garage door at the end there. So you can do a substantial amount of structural things as well with the cassettes. And now we're starting to get into exterior structures, so our exterior wall systems. And so I'm going to actually launch into that real quick. So we take the same model of a kit of parts, and this is an example of what would be most likely an ADU, but we do this in 3 formats. So there's a 9x9 block, a 9x10 block, and an 11x11 block. The beauty in those blocks is they can be infinitely combined. So you can make a 2,000 square foot house, or you could reduce it over time or increase it. Oops, yeah, there's a video actually. So here's an example of the 9x9 block, how quickly you can actually interchange cassettes. So this was we were doing a sample to showcase some of the materials internally. So this took 7.5 minutes to remove a window and add that sample cassette in. So, and these are not like professional builders. So here's the kit of parts for the housing units that we do. So you have your corner pier, and you have your beams, and your corner pillars. And so this unit can actually be constructed in a couple different ways. It can be constructed on slab-on-grade concrete without the floor, so it has a floor adapter. It can be constructed on helical pillars or concrete pillars with our flooring system that anchors in with the corner piers. Or it can actually be constructed on a stem wall. So it has a lot of flexibility to it. So here's an example of taking those different platforms. And you can see the simplicity of the parts. So they're color-coded. So you can see the different sizes of beams. But this is an example of 2 9x9s, I think a 9x11 and 11x11. So currently we can do about a 22-foot rough opening span. And the exterior wall cassettes, they consist of only 2 cassettes. So it's very simple. It's a 24-inch cassette and a 48-inch cassette. And those cassettes can also be basically roughed in for any door or window system that the customer would like to use. So here's an example of those 2 blocks. And we have a lot of this information too on our LinkedIn page as well, a lot of great videos. This is kind of where we're going next. So this is kind of future-facing, but interchangeable facilities. So being able to take our blocks and basically add in a bathroom pod. So you guys are obviously familiar with pods. So we're kind of looking at making our own version of pods where you can take those blocks and interchange them over time. And I love this because this shows the versatility of really our trademark is the 2x4 of the future. So I know that's kind of a big claim, but we're going with it. But we had a briefing to basically design data cabinets. And we actually have a project for 250 units coming up here in Columbus, Georgia. And the beauty in it, you can see the actual cassette that I've been talking about. So you can see the cassette on the side. So when you think about a 2x4, it's like how many things can you build with a 2x4, right? It's almost infinite. And so that's kind of where we see Låda Cube. Like, you can take this product, and there's so many things you can do with it in terms of the built environment. And so here you can see the beauty in this product, the data cabinet, is being able to interchange the footprint of the cabinet over time. So you could actually add a larger cassette or smaller cassette. So that's the sustainability model. And then you can add our other cassette walls to create hot and cold aisle containment. So fully, this entire unit can actually it has cam locks, it can be deconstructed, flat packed, and we could actually use these walls inside of one of the ADUs. So yeah, with that, Låda Cube, we believe we have a disruptive technology. We're doing a lot of unique projects. And once again, our primary focus is interior wall construction and also housing as well. So with that, I thank you guys for your time, and come talk to me.